Hello and welcome to this module where we are going to discuss how to decide on what business to start. Is it the business that makes a lot of money, or is it the business that is easy to run? Any person who is going to be successful has to be motivated from within themselves. Passion is the greatest ingredient of any successful business person. You must be passionate to the extent that you can dig a hole in the ground and invest your money there. Then you come back tomorrow and you can't even find where you dug that hole, and you're still willing to dig another hole to make another investment. This is exactly what is happening in the business world. People make investments, they come back tomorrow, and their investments are gone. Your passion will enable you to continue, even during the hard times when there's nothing to celebrate. For some people, this kind of passion and zeal comes from the idea of creating new things. They are inventors. They want to build something. And once they've built their products, they can employ somebody to market it and to sell it for them. For other people, they are just motivated by making money. These are the type of people who can invest in anything that has got a profit. Today they are selling cars, the following day they are into real estate, another day they are doing Bitcoin. So you need to decide, what is it that motivates you? Is it creativity, or is it simply the idea of making money? What I'm going to do now is to give you a quick rundown, point by point, those things that you need to consider when you are deciding what type of business to start. First of all, a business must be addressing a particular need. Business is not necessarily about persuading people to buy from you, even if they do not need something. I'm sure you have heard people who say, I'm such a good salesman that I can sell ice to an Eskimo. Or I'm such a good salesman, I can sell a heater in the desert. You are a charismatic person. You persuade people to buy even things that they do not need. But that is a characteristic that does not create a lasting business. If you want to develop a business that is lasting, your charisma must be built into the product and into the service that you're offering. People must remember more the thing that you have given them than the words that you have said to them. So your new business must present a solution to a problem that is existing. As I'm speaking, we are in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, and many communities and economies are locked down. There is a need for new solutions that can meet the needs of people while they do not have the freedom to be moving around. So there are many types of businesses that will not work in this environment because of the current situation in which we are. So you need to look at the product and service that you are trying to offer and ask yourself, how does this product or this service make life better for people in the situation in which they find themselves? If it is a product that you could use yourself, then you know that somebody else can easily need the same product. So number one, find a product or service that is meeting a need or solving a problem. The next thing that you need to look at are your skills or competencies. When we talk of skills, we are not only talking about technical skills like knowing how to fix a car or how to fix electrical fittings in houses. If you've got the ability to negotiate or the ability to sell, those are the skills that you utilize when you're opening your business. So you decide on a type of business that requires those type of negotiating skills. Make sure that the type of business you want to start requires the type of skill that you possess yourself until such a time that you have enough money to employ other people. On the other hand, there are certain people who have got a lot of money who just go around opening businesses and employing people to come and run those businesses on their behalf. So when you've got money, you don't necessarily need to have the skills yourself. But otherwise, you need to know what type of skills are required for the business that you are starting. Thirdly, the type of business that you are trying to start must be a business with earning potential. In other words, the type of product or service that you're trying to sell must have the ability to generate sufficient money to keep the business running and also to grow your wealth and that of your employees. And when we talk of potential, your business must have long-term potential. Don't base a business on a temporary situation. Let's say, for example, it is the year that the World Cup is coming to the country. You can start a business because there are going to be many tourists coming during that year. But once that World Cup is gone, your relevance also goes away. That will be a good project to have, but it's only a short-term project. If you want a sustainable business, it needs to be a product or a service that can be replicated from generation to generation. It has to be a product for which you get repeat customers. In other words, the same person keeps on coming back. It also has to be a product for which the newer generations, as they are growing, you inherit them as your new clients. Number 5, your business must be the type of project that you can start on a small scale with the resources that you have. You don't need to implement all your ideas at the same time. Let the profits from one phase finance the other phases. If, for example, you want to start a farm, on paper, you might have a poultry section, one for piggery, you've got a portion for vegetables, you want to have cattle somewhere, you want to grow potatoes, you want to grow tomatoes. Those are all different sub-projects of one big idea that you have. You must not burden yourself with a loan of $1 million just because you want to start everything together. You need to plan carefully and decide which of these small projects will bring in money quicker than the rest. You start with that small portion of vegetables, or you start with the chickens. And as time goes on, you are raising money that belongs to you, and you slowly reinvest your profits into the other portions of the business. Bank loans are very expensive because the moment they give you the money, they expect you to start paying back even before you start making profits from your business. So you need to make sure that the project that you're starting can be broken down into smaller sub-projects that you can implement one after the other. If your project is bigger than you as an individual, you can look for other people with the same ideas and same motivations. It is better to own 50% or 30% of a successful business than to try and own 100% of a business that finally fails. You simply need to be careful to select the type of partners who have the same motivation as yourself, because you do not want to be stuck with partners that are not willing to work as hard as you do. Most entrepreneurs feel the need to be completely in control. As a result, they start businesses in areas in which they've got the expertise. So a carpenter will start a carpentry business. An accountant wants to start an accounting business because they want to be the main resource person. They do not want to rely on anybody because they feel that an employee can wake up one day and demand a salary raise. If you don't give them, they leave you. And if you do not know how to do that work, then you are stuck. If, on the other hand, you have got sufficient money, you can hire all the expertise that you need, and you don't have to be the main resource person in that business. This brings us to the dilemma of many educated people. They find it difficult to start successful businesses because they've been taught a lot of analysis and a lot of mathematics. Especially in our African context, when you see a supermarket in the location or in the suburb, you cannot think of starting another supermarket because you are thinking there is already another similar business in the location. But while you are thinking like that, somebody else comes and sets up a second supermarket, and another one comes and sets up a third and a fourth and a fifth. By the time you are thinking of setting up the supermarket, you are now thinking, well, it was bad when there was one supermarket. Now there is another 5. It's even worse. Your success in business will not depend primarily on how many other people are doing the same business, because there will always be hundreds of other people doing the same business. Your success depends on how you do your own business. So you can decide to do your business in a way that brings clients to you. Another problem of educated people, and just in case you think I'm stereotyping educated people, I'm very, very educated myself. When we want to start a business, we think it has to be in line with what you studied in school. So a person who studied accounting thinks they must start an accounting firm. They must do books for people. They never think of selling vegetables. They think selling tomatoes is below them because they studied accounting. But when you ask the same person, where are you working? They are the chief accountant at Fruit and Veg, where they are selling vegetables. So the question is, if you can be a chief accountant for a company that sells vegetables, why can you not be the owner of a company that sells vegetables? So you need to overcome this prejudice against certain types of business. There is no business for educated people and business for uneducated people. There is only business for somebody that wants to make money. And a good business person is the one that can identify a need and meet it, even if that need is for tomatoes. You need to use that degree, that master's, that doctorate, and show us how to sell tomatoes and cabbages successfully. An important factor that you need to consider when you're deciding the type of business to start is whether there is a market for the product or the service that you'd like to sell. There has to be enough clients to buy sufficient products for you to make sufficient profit to pay all your expenses and make a profit. When you're deciding on the business that you want to start, you also need to consider the revenue cycles. There are businesses that bring in money on a daily basis. Some bring in money every minute, like in a supermarket, whereas others bring in money monthly. Further still, you get businesses that are project-based, where you only get paid when you finish a particular project. So the requirements for cash are different in all those different businesses. If you are working on a project basis, it means you need to have sufficient money to carry you through the months when you are working on the project before you actually get paid. On the other hand, if you are having a business that is generating money on a daily basis, it means that business also needs money on a daily basis. So whichever the case is, you need to have sufficient money to pay for your office, to pay for your employees, and to pay all the other operating expenses. We are going to be talking about the revenue, cash flow, and profit dilemma, which explains why some businesses suddenly vanish when it seemed they were flourishing. A supermarket is full of stock one day, but the following day there is a sign that says it is closed. You look inside and you see the stock is still there. So what happened? When we were growing up in the village, we used to take fruit from the tree before they ripened. Then we go and dig a hole in the ground and we put that fruit and cover it with earth so that it ripens quicker. So you know where your fruit is because that place is a bit disturbed because of the digging. Overnight, it rains, and tomorrow you go back and everywhere looks the same. You can't even find the place where you put your fruit. That is exactly what happens with investment at times. You put your money, you come back tomorrow, you do not find it. So if you are not passionate enough about the business, you are going to give up because you have lost 5-6 times. But if you have got enough passion, you know that if you persevere, you are going to succeed in the end. Let me see you in the next video.